Hey lovely people, it's me, as.a Hicks, corporate recruiter, and in this video, I'm going to be actually talking about why you should not become a corporate recruiter. I do have notes just to make sure this is not a full-on rant. I do enjoy my job, and actually what spurred this conversation in this video is a conversation I had with a lovely young lady who is thinking about switching careers and actually considering HR or recruitment. And so I decided I would make a video just talking about some things to consider if you are thinking about making the transition or making recruitment a career. There are some things to keep in mind, and there are certain people I don't think would be a good fit to make that transition to becoming a recruiter. So I'm gonna jump into the list of things that I think of folks that should not make the transition to become a corporate recruiter. And this is coming from someone that I'm going on 10 years of working in the recruitment space. I worked as a recruiter in college and jumped right into it after I graduated. So I'm gonna start with the number one tip. If you don't like people, I think this is pretty obvious, but if you don't like people and you don't wanna talk to people every hour on the hour, you probably shouldn't become a corporate recruiter, because you are going to talk to hiring managers. You're going to be working with different HR managers, other recruiters. You're also going to work with candidates, most importantly, and potential candidates or prospects. So if you don't like being around people, talking to people, communicating with people pretty much all day, every day, then you probably don't want to become a recruiter. So that's number one. And the second thing is, if you don't like customer service, you're not going to like recruitment, because recruitment is all about customer service. And I think it's really an interesting type of customer service work, because you are providing client service and customer service to not only the company that you're working with as a corporate recruiter, which would be your direct hiring manager or your hiring team, because sometimes you're working with one manager, sometimes there are multiple managers you're working with to fill a need within their group. Maybe someone left, maybe they just have more business in their team and they need more people, but you're working to fill that gap and find that exact match for them, and you're providing great client service in doing so. So you're doing so with a smile. And so you have that customer, but you also have potential candidates who are also not only clients for you because you want to provide a really good candidate experience, but you also are acting as the brand for the company. So any person you engage with could be a customer in a way of the company. So you want to provide a good candidate or customer experience for candidates or even potential candidates, or what we call prospects. So you have multiple ways that you're providing customer service. So if you don't like customer service, don't do it, because that is essentially the job. The next one, this one should also go without saying. However, I don't think a lot of people realize how much time is actually spent on the phone when you are a corporate recruiter. You spend a ton of time on the phone. Actually, I found an estimate that in the US, most corporate recruiters are spending about 25 of their hours in a given week on the phone. So if you do not want to spend your days talking on the phone, you detest talking on the phone, don't become a corporate recruiter, because that will be a large part of your day and definitely a big chunk of your week. So don't do it if you don't like talking on the phone. You'll be on the phone all day, every day. All right, so the next one I have is, if you don't like to be at a computer, if you don't like sitting. Now, there are some interesting things you can do. Maybe get a headset that's wireless and you can walk around during your calls. That typically doesn't work in most cases, because you're taking a lot of notes when communicating with candidates or hiring teams, because you're pulling a lot of information. You're trying to figure out, okay, what does the hiring manager want? What does the candidate, want? What are they looking for? Are they qualified? So you're taking a lot of notes at a computer. And so if you don't like being at a computer, a recruitment job, a corporate recruiter job is not going to be the best match for you because most of the time you're on the phone, you're also at a computer, you're taking notes, you're responding to emails, you're responding to Slack messages, you're just responding to a lot of people. So if you don't like that, not the job for you. All right, so this is a kind of weird one, but I think for people that don't like to have just never-ending projects, recruitment will not be for you because I think for folks that really like to work on a large project or maybe have, 3 small projects and maybe 1 or 2 large projects where you close it at the end and then there's this great celebration, we're partying, woohoo, and all of that, which I have seen other team members do. That's not really recruitment. You are closing out small projects. Let's say you have 15 or 20 jobs or requisitions to fill for the company. Well, you're filling those jobs, and let's say I fill one job and it's a really tough job. Like I fill a high level vice president role in this niche, sector. It's really hard to find people in this space. Well, you fill the job, and here's 3 more jobs that we need to fill ASAP. There's no celebratory period. There's not, oh my goodness, congratulations. No, there's none of that. It's like, oh great, when they start and let's get moving and here's a couple more jobs that we need you to fill ASAP. So there's no time in between really, between getting those projects, which is really different from someone that likes to work on these large scale, big picture projects that take, a while to finish. And then once you finish it, it's this great, ordeal at the end where you can just be like, ha, and celebrate for a minute and then you move on to something else. Recruitment's just not like that. You're working on multiple projects at a time, essentially, which a project will be the jobs that you're closing out. And it's just continuous. It's continuous workflow. So if you don't like that, recruitment may not be the role for you. Okay, so this is a really big one. Recruiters really have to be organized, and I'm gonna tell you why. A big reason why you have to be organized goes back to my earlier point about the amount of people that you're communicating with. You're communicating with hiring managers, or you're communicating with your HR managers, you're communicating with candidates, potential candidates. And you have to really stay organized because there's a lot of information getting thrown at you at all times. The other reason is that you're not working on the same job all the time. So it's not like you have 20 jobs that are all in the same kind of niche field. In certain cases, a lot of corporate recruiters like me are working on jobs that are in finance, and then over here we're working on these sales jobs, and they're working on these marketing jobs, and we got this IT job, and then we got this data research type of job, we got this social media job, we got this SEO job. So they're all very different, so you do have to stay very organized to understand what the differences are between each job, what the requirements are, what each hiring manager really works for them, what your communication style is going to be with each one, everything, who's going to be in which interview. And then also from a candidate perspective, you're working with different people, so you have to understand which person needs what. So you do have to keep very organized notes, and you have to stay up on your projects, knowing where you're at in certain areas with your recruitment, where candidates at, what status is your requisition at. When I say requisition, I just mean a job. So where's the status? Is it in interview stage? Is it in the intake meeting stage? Is it at a testing stage, or are we at an offer stage? There's different areas that you may be in. And so you do have to stay very organized. So if you don't like being organized, I wouldn't say that you shouldn't become a recruiter, but you're going to need to learn how to be organized very quickly. And you're also going to need to be organized so that you can prioritize your jobs accordingly as well. Okay, so this last one, I tried to keep this short. I could talk about more things, but I think these are the main ones. This last one is that I don't think recruitment is a good job for someone that doesn't want to work longer hours. And when I say longer hours, I just mean if you want to stick to a strict 40 hours a week, every week, that's just not the corporate recruiter world. It really isn't. Normally you're going to work, I would say, between 40 hours and 60 hours. And a big reason for that is because you are spending a lot of time on the phone. So if you're spending about 25 hours each week on the phone, And you do have to account for, you know, recruitment meetings, HR meetings, other, you know, kind of ad hoc random calls that happen between your hiring managers and your candidates, and other things that you may join. Like normally in a normal world, recruiters also go to different recruitment events and things of that nature to find other candidates in more non-traditional ways. When I say non-traditional, means off of LinkedIn or outside of the applicant tracking system of people applying. So there's a lot of things that you will do to keep yourself organized, to communicate back to your hiring team, and just your normal day-to-day activities as far as processes and things. So you will not work a weekly 40 hours a week in most cases, unless you're someone with a really, really good work-life balance, or you're at a place where you know, you just have a really nice system that works for you, where you have made it to where you can work 40 hours a week. But in most cases, that's just not the case due to the workloads and just the nature of the job. You know, weekly, or if you have 25 hours that you're just on the phone, you have to have some time to get some work done too. So within that, but I will say nothing super crazy, but it's just for the folks that are thinking, oh, I'm going to work a 9 to 5 every day. No, you're not. You're not. You're going to need to be flexible. You're going to work longer hours sometimes. I hope this is helpful for anyone that is thinking about making the move into becoming a corporate recruiter. The other thing I want to point out is that this is very different than a staffing agency recruiter. So these are just some simple things that came to the top of my mind when I thought about, you know, my work as a corporate recruiter. Again, different than a staffing recruiter. I do think staffing recruiters work longer hours. However, they're also getting bonuses and a lot of money tied to the people they hire. So they're getting money per person they hire, versus a corporate recruiter, you're typically not getting that. Now, I hope this is helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.